Good evening and welcome to Interlude. I am so glad that we have these midweek services to keep me focused, or at least remind me to get back on track. Hopefully you feel the same way. This past week, I've been focusing on letting go. As I went through my day, I'd practice stopping briefly when I felt myself getting upset. I'd look to see what it was that I found upsetting and why. I found that more often, it was a feeling that was elicited by what happened. Something triggered an emotion in me from my past that was tied to the tone used, or specific words used, or the mannerisms, right? Something. And you know what I mean, right? That ever happened to you? Now, most of the time, I couldn't remember the initial incident that would have triggered that for me. But that also didn't matter. It didn't matter to me as much as working on releasing whatever it was that would then bring me some peace. And in that moment, finding that peace, as well as finding that peace for the future. So I played a little game with my mind and with my feelings. I usually took a deep breath and I played a song. Now, of course, sometimes I was at work, so I couldn't exactly just find the song to play. So I'd run the song a little bit through my mind and just breathe. So here we go. I'm going to kind of take you through that. So here's my prayer. We'll start with a deep breath. And you may recognize it. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for love. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for love. And so it is.
Good evening, and thank you for that beautiful prayer, Nadine. Good evening. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I'm the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood. And I'd like to welcome you to Interlude, our midweek service that we've set aside some time, all of us together, to just take a moment and pause and remember the truth of who we are and recenter so that we can carry that into the rest of our week. In Unity, we teach the importance of taking time to be in the silence, which Unity defines as a state of consciousness that we enter into for the purposes of making ourselves available to divine mind. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore writes, "In the silence, we shall know the presence of God." She invites us to set aside regular periods every day for prayer, times that are most convenient for you. She says, use words of truth during your silence periods. Every day, during your periods of communion in the silence, pray for wisdom and guidance. Make yourself open and receptive to the leading of the Spirit. She also tells us that as a result of this practice, she says, as you change your thinking and bring it into line with truth principles, a transformation will take place in your consciousness. Your mind will become keen, awake, alert, illumined, and your body temple will be filled with new life. You will be inspired with new and practical ideas that will enable you to succeed in a larger way. Maybe you're like me. Meditation didn't come easy for me. I think I first started sitting in my late teens, and I would dutifully arrange my body with legs crossed, hands quiet in my lap, and I would close my eyes, and I would begin with my mantra, and in less than a minute, along would come the first thought to whisk me away. You know, I'm convinced that those pesky thoughts have wheels. They're like mini thought scooters. When they come into our mind, the next thing we know, we've hopped aboard and off we go. Whee! Hair flying out behind us and we're gone. Or at least I was gone. And then 5 minutes later, more or less, I'd realize that I'm on this thought scooter and I'd think, oh right, breathe, back to the breath. I'm supposed to be meditating. So I'd hop off the scooter and try again. That was my meditation for years. I'd sit with the intention of stilling my mind, and along would come a thoughtmobile. Sometimes in the guise of a to-do list, sometimes in the guise of plans I needed to make, a phone call I needed to do, sometimes in the guise of a very important problem that I must solve right now. And off I'd go, zipping away into the recesses of my mind. And I could so nimbly leap from one thought scooter to another that often, by the time I caught myself, I was on thought number 5 or 10 or 110. My mind was never quiet and still the way I was told that it was supposed to be, that I was supposed to be able to get to. And so I began to struggle with even making the time to sit. I kind of felt like a meditation failure. And it was something that worked for everyone but me. I knew it was important to do, and I wanted to do it. I'd read about how it was not only necessary for my spiritual growth, but it was good for my health too. But sitting day after day, only to realize that when my timer went off, that I'd spent the entire time ruminating on some idle thought or 20, was discouraging. Now, you may be someone for whom meditation comes easy, or maybe you've been practicing to the point where it's become easy. But for those who are still working to make silence part of your daily practice, or even if you're just open to something that may be a little bit different, might be new, or if you're feeling just in need of a little tweak, I offer the following. After struggling for years, I stumbled into a mindfulness meditation practice that taught simply observing my thoughts, not trying to have a still mind, not ignoring my thoughts, but just letting them be, just watching them. I had tried several methods, mantras, following the breath, different techniques to still the mind. But for me, at that time, my mind just wouldn't be quiet. And so I ended up always whizzing off on the next thoughtmobile. This particular mindfulness practice doesn't attempt to quiet the monkey mind. Thoughts will come and thoughts will go. The trick is just not to engage them, but to just observe them. When I first started, I would pretend that there was a big movie screen in front of me, and that was where I gave my thoughts permission to play. I would begin with my breath, placing my attention there, and then as the first distracting thoughts made themselves known, I would allow them to dance on the screen of my mind. What I noticed that was giving them a place where they were free to be brought me out of resistance to them. I no longer dreaded them showing up. I no longer tried to silence them or ignore them. I was no longer fighting them. I was just letting them be. I also noticed that because there was this screen out in front of me, it actually created space between me and those thoughts. And I found that with practice, that space between myself and those thoughts began to widen. And I found that I was not racing off on every thought scooter that showed up. And in time, the space around me opened even more. And while the thoughts were still there, they were no longer as distracting. They no longer had that same automatic pull. The space itself held me more solidly. And there were more times where I was just aware of being. The silence came of its own accord. Well, that screen has long since faded, but there is still space between me and my thoughts that continue to dance across my mind. It has become easier for me to pay indistractable attention to God. It has become easier for me to pay attention with every last thread of my thought. It has become easier for me to just listen in the silence for whatever gift it might hold for me. Silence, that inner realization of the presence of God, has to be practiced. I share this as a midweek reminder that you are worth your investment in yourself. You matter. And when you implement a daily and consistent practice of being in the silence, you are investing in yourself. As we practice being in the silence, we come to realize what Myrtle Fillmore came to realize, and I quote, "God is the one perfect life flowing through us. God is the one pure substance out of which our organism is formed. God is the power that gives us motive power, the strength that holds us upright and allows us to exercise our members. The wisdom that gives us intelligence in every cell of our organism, every thought of our minds. God is the only reality of us. All else is but a shadow that is cast by some foolish belief or unwise combination of thoughts and elements of being. When we let light flood us with its sunshine, all clouds vanish, and we begin to see ourselves in new ways of doing, which lead to wholeness and health and satisfaction and growth." Shall we share a time of meditation here together on this beautiful midweek evening? I invite you to allow your eyes to gently close. Make yourself comfortable, trusting that your body knows just what it needs to be comfortable and just what to do. Notice that you are being breathed. Follow a couple of those breaths in and out and allow your body to relax into this now moment. Let go of your day, all of the things you've done, the words you've just listened to. Let go of any things you've yet to do before the day ends. They can wait. They'll still be there when you're done. Just bring all of your attention to this moment, right here, right now, and allow yourself just to be here. Place your attention on your head and notice if there is any tension in your face or skull. Wiggle your eyebrows or move the muscles of your face to break that tension, and then just allow your face and your head to relax. And now place your attention on your shoulders and notice if there's any tension there. Shrug your shoulders or wiggle them to break that tension. And then just allow your shoulders to relax. And now place your attention on your arms and hands and notice if there's any tension there. You can go ahead and shake your arms and wiggle your fingers to break that tension. And then just allow your hands and your arms to relax. And now place your attention on your chest and your abdomen and notice if there's any tension there. Breathe deeply, allowing your ribs and your abdomen to expand, to break the tension. And then just allow your ribs and your chest and your abdomen to relax. And now place your attention on your back and just notice if there's any tension there. Breathe deeply into your back to break the tension. And then just allow your back to relax. And then go ahead and bring your attention to your legs and your feet. You can wiggle your legs and wiggle your toes and your feet to break any tension that might be there. And then just go ahead and allow your legs and your feet to just relax. And now as you sit, I invite you to imagine that you're in a beautiful study. You're sitting in a comfortable chair, feeling quite relaxed and at ease. There is a fire crackling in the fireplace, and the room is filled with natural light. As you look to your left, there are large windows that you can see out of from where you're sitting, and they reveal a stunning sunset. The sky is filled with such beauty. And then as you turn your head, in front of you, you see about 10 feet away is a wall. And on the wall is a screen. And just allow yourself to relax in your chair, just sitting and breathing. There is nothing else for you to do. And as you sit, you will notice thoughts drifting into your mind. I'm cold. I'm hot. I'm hungry. I need to call so-and-so. What's that sound? That TV show last night was so funny. Don't forget to buy eggs, or bread, or yogurt. The thoughts just slide in. Allow them to stroll across the screen and simply observe them. Don't interact with them. Just simply notice them. Just let them be. As you watch them, notice, are they words? Are they images? Do they repeat? Just notice them. Then notice that they are across the room and you are in your chair. Notice the space between yourself and those thoughts on the screen. Notice the space around you. And then notice the thoughts on the screen. Do you seem to have more space from them? Just notice. And from this vantage point, notice that you are not your thoughts. You are that which can and does observe them. You can watch them. They are not you. They don't define you. They come and they go. And you are something much, much more. Allow the stillness to rise up around you, even if it lasts for but a heartbeat. A heartbeat is a beginning. In a heartbeat, you can hear the still, small voice of God. There is only one life, one power, and one presence that is expressing through and as you. There is one substance, and we are made of it, meaning that the very substance of who we are is love, is harmony, is wisdom, is intelligence. And this is the truth of you. And so it is.
Thank you, Nina. And thank you all for joining us tonight. If you would like to donate this evening, there are some easy ways to do so, and the information will appear on a slide for you. So as you know, we have text to give, or you can go to our website and click on the donate button, or you can you can mail us a check. It would be funny to watch you email a check, but for another day. I saw this definition of prosperity that I'd like to share. It said, prosperity is that which comes about when people believe in other people. It's a blessing. And I really believe that we are here for each other. So again, we thank you for your generosity. Now, as we bring this interlude to a close, we are reminded to release what does not serve and to call upon the you that you seek. It takes courage to be. It takes courage to show up and be seen. So I'd like you to repeat after me. Here's who I choose to be. I choose to look in the mirror and see my truth. I know my truth and my power. I look at the blank pages of tomorrow. It takes courage to be me authentically. I am all that I seek. I rise up, put pen to paper, and create my life. I live, I love, I laugh, I serve. Every act of love towards myself and others inspires more love. We stand up in support of one another. All my sisters and brothers in love. My life matters. My voice matters. I matter. Living courageously, being authentically audacious, daring to be me. This is who I choose to be. For me and for the world. Let's do this. And so it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm